Michael pushes away from at last and looks at me. Is that okay? He asks, breathing a little hard. I look up at him. A little to your right, I say. No, you're right. Biceps flexed, he shifts, moving the a bit. I watch beads of sweat make slow progress down his cheek as he Right there, I sigh. Perfect.
Hey.
I have tears.
I can see.
Did not expect this redacted to do this. Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
On with the episode.
Welcome to First Aid Kit.
Yay! I love First Aid Kit. Do you?
I do indeed.
Wonderful, wonderful. How are you doing this week, Nicole?
I am pushing through and I am here.
Listen, this is Q2 of 2018, and I think good things are happening, not least because here we are, another week, another episode of the splendid First Aid Kit.
All right, Bim, now that I've recovered,
Yes.
let's talk about who we're going to focus on today.
It is a young, talented actor, a man who has a lovely jawline, beautiful lips, possibly the cutest nose in the universe.
Oh, my God. Skin like butter.
Fam. And just like, you know, the lean physique of, you know, something that walked out of my dreams. We're talking today about Michael B. Jordan.
Yes,
Listen.
Michael Bay Jordan.
Michael Bay. The B stands for Bay. It doesn't, but it does in this studio. I just have such a strong reaction to him. I love him. I think he has, like I said, a very handsome face, which is also like a weirdly cute face.
Yes.
It does a lot, that face.
Yeah, like
There's a lot to him.
he's definitely cute, sexy. A cute, sexy.
Yes, he is. Woo, yes, he is. My apologies. I got carried away there. My apologies. He's that. Yes,
so
he is that.
if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who he is, you may have seen him in All My Children.
Back in the day, way back.
Way back,
He
yeah.
was a child actor, wasn't he?
Yes. The Wire.
Yes. Where's
Yeah.
Wallace?
Oh, no.
God,
Don't
oh
start
my
the
God.
waterworks.
All right, I'll stop.
A lot of, network TV, Friday
Yeah.
Night Lights, Parenthood.
That's right. I loved him in Parenthood, even though he was done completely dirty by that show.
I agree.
I love a guilty white screen writer, but that was a particularly egregious example of that. He was also he's done like a few films. You may have seen him in Fruitvale Station that he did with Ryan Coogler, which is just an astonishing piece of work.
Yeah.
He was also, of course, as we know, in Fantastic Four, The Noble Failure. Whew, that was he played the Human Torch, and never have I wanted to extinguish a flame as I did when I was watching that movie. And of course, most recently, he was, of course, the wonderful Marvel villain, maybe Marvel's best villain ever, Eric Killmonger in
Yes.
Black Panther.
Who was not right, by the way. I keep seeing Eric
Thank you.
Killmonger was right. He was not right.
He was not right. But
You
we'll
know
get
who
to
was
that.
right? Nakia was right.
Nakia is always right, but we'll talk more about that. Whew, all right, let's get into it. Michael Bay Jordan.
Sweetie.
Talk to me about Michael B. Jordan, Nicole.
Wow. Sometimes I feel a little conflicted
go
because he was a child actor, right?
Yes,
And I've noticed him in The Wire. I didn't know that he was in All My Children until a little later. But when I saw him on The Wire, he was a teenager, or at least playing a teenager. I'm not sure if his age.
He was a teenager then too.
In The Wire, Michael played Wallace, who was one of the runners in Baltimore.
Yep, the Barksdale Stringer Bell Empire.
Yeah.
Listen, he broke my heart.
Absolutely. The children
Yeah.
ruined me.
Yeah.
Like I would have dreams about them. But anyway, so Michael B. Jordan as Wallace was, you could see the talent in him.
Yes.
Beautiful crier. Oh, he was...
Just go, and he had those little dimples,
Yeah.
incredibly cute. And he was playing this kid who you could tell, like so many of the real children that series is based around or based on. This idea of just this strong sense of wasted potential, wasted talent. He was so clearly, in any other life, he was going to go so far. And instead he met an incredibly tragic end, killed by, men who literally 2 weeks before were children themselves.
Yeah.
And the whole thing kind of just like, it was just this horribly, horribly layered like look at what can happen when, you know, talent and when the world kind of conspires to keep you away from what is yours by birth. And I kept thinking about how his face in that was such a compelling thing that when I saw him years later, you know, on TV in another show, I was like, oh my God, Wallace. Like I felt like I knew him. And I think that's like his very specific talent where he has this intense connection with you.
Right.
Of course, you could argue that that's a lot to do with the writing, but I also think his performing is just so solid. I love looking at Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, of course he's, you know, a treat to look at, but his talent is amazing, and it was obvious from a young age, from as soon as he got on the screen, that he was going to go far, which we saw in other shows like Friday Night Lights and Parenthood.
Yes. Now, I have a lot of love for Parenthood. I do not have very much love at all for the storyline that they gave him.
Neither do I.
I mean, listen,
Bravermans are shit.
Aren't they? Just a pile of actual human feces. But again, Michael just shone. He was just this bright light. Like I remember watching him and kind of going, he's hitting every cliche I need him to hit, but I don't feel like it's a cliche. You know, he's kind of like difficult, and he's resentful of, or seems resentful of, this rich white girl, and you're like, oh, gonna be one of those. And then Michael's kind of like, no, you thought it was gonna be one of those. Look at me fucking act my way out of this fucking cul-de-sac that they've written me into. And he just killed it. This is like all small screen stuff we're talking about at this stage. But even on the small screen, his acting makes things feel cinematic.
Let's talk a little bit about Michael's character on that show, that storyline, just very briefly. Okay. Alex, that's his character, was dating Hattie, who was the daughter of one of the main Bravermans, Adam. And when she brought him to the house, you know, and introduces him and everything, I just remember, you know, they're like, oh, is he going to be okay? You know, how are you sure that you should be dating him? And then they did the whole, like, we're not racist.
I mean,
you know.
To be honest, I actually don't think the Bravermans were racist, but I think there was something, because it felt to me that, and this to me was a failure of the writing, where they made him not just be this slightly older black boy / man, but also he was emancipated from his parents. Also, he was an alcoholic. Like, this kid is like 22 at the most, 21 maybe. And I was like, wait, he was homeless and an addict and fam, come on.
They put everything they could on this boy.
They were like, all right, so we got an urban kid. What can we do? And they were like, all right, pile it on. And I was like, this is actually not The Wire. Somehow this kid has more problems than actual Wallace on The Wire. But like I said, I feel like Michael really kind of elevated even this shitty little role. And it made you think, oh God, if he is managing to make this not look as terrible as it clearly is, that's a talent.
I think that is key to his abilities, that he can elevate stuff that's kind of garbage, you know, and recycle it, and make it into a lovely little treasure that we end up talking about on a podcast many years later.
Exactly.
He reminds me of Will Smith in the calculated ways that he chose his roles.
100%.
And, you know, his moves, very strategic. And I feel like Michael B. Jordan has studied the actors that came before him.
Right. Like, he's trying to kind of succeed in the same way they did, but also exceed that. And he doesn't want to fail in the way they failed.
Yes.
And I respect it. Because normally I think that can be quite off-putting when you're kind of like, it's a little bit too calculated. Because that's the feeling that came with Will Smith, where you were like, you're being a little bit too, you know, go with your heart. But I feel like Michael kind of does, look at me, I don't know him.
Right.
But I feel like he is very much somebody who kind of manages to pack in some common sense, but also going after passion projects. So he's not failing too often. We will, of course, be talking about Fantastic Four, which was a noble, terrible failure. That was one rare, massive misstep. But listen, if anyone can come back from that shit, it's Michael B. Jordan.
Which is what he's done.
I feel like a lot of Michael's career is around this feeling of TV versus cinema. Because he started off so clearly on the small screen and then slowly began to move towards the big screen. What was the first thing you saw him on big screen-wise?
Big screen? I can't remember. Maybe Chronicle.
Oh, really?
Maybe. And I was surprised that I liked it.
I was surprised. Yeah.
Because it would not have normally been a movie that I would go to see, but I heard other people talking about it, saying that it was better again than they expected. So I went to check it out, and he should have been the star of the movie.
He should have been the star of the movie. I feel like that is also another constant motif of this particular period of his career, where you are like, you are better than everybody in this fucking project. Why the fuck isn't your name above the marquee?
Yeah.
God, Chronicle is one of those weird films where, low budget and did massively well.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, like you, I was like, that's the star. That guy over there, the one you killed midway through in the movie, that guy should be the star. But
yeah, and just such an emblematic thing, right? Of this angry white boy who gets powers and ruins friendships and whatever. Okay, but yes.
No, see, I saw him in Chronicle, but then the next thing I saw was, again, it had this danger of being a victim of its own hype, but there was Fruitvale Station. So Fruitvale Station is about Oscar Grant III, who was a young African-American man who was fatally shot in Oakland back in 2009.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that and being so blown away. Like, for the longest time, I avoided it because I thought to myself, I'm sure, like, everyone was saying it's amazing. And it is, no two ways about it. But I kept thinking, God, the fact that it's amazing is probably the thing that's going to kill me, because it's going to be well done and it's going to be considered. And it's still, at the end of the day, going to be about the loss of Black life, senseless loss of Black life. And that, for the longest time, made me kind of go, do you know what? I'm going to just leave this one on the shelf. I'll come back to it. And then I did. And I was essentially destroyed.
Yeah, it took me a very long time to see it. I think it took me maybe 2 years to watch it because when you see it every day in the news, you really don't want to sit down and watch it in your spare time for pleasure, right?
No, that's really not a pleasure at all.
It's not.
Even when you know that the performances are going to be amazing, the writing, the directing, all that stuff, you know it's going to be art. But it's art that is based on a very specific present pain. And you're just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to have some ice cream tonight. I'm not doing that. I can't do it.
There was an incredible profile and interview of Michael B. Jordan in GQ in 2015 where he talks about what he wants to do with his career. And he says that he wants to go out for roles for white characters that were originally written for white characters.
Yeah, he didn't phrase it correctly.
No.
I'll be honest with you, because he ended up having to apologize about that.
Yeah.
Because, that was clumsy phrasing.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
And that, and we're going to get into that very quickly because he was still fairly young at the time, and he would say things in a very clumsy way that got him into hot water quite often.
So pretty. Kind of clumsy with the words.
Yeah. But I think it's important that he acknowledged that he didn't just want to be a Black character. And I know that again, it's tricky to say and whatever, but he shouldn't just be stuck playing these roles of a drug dealer, of the troubled teen, of the troubled, man who's overcome some kind of stuff.
Yes. And I think also that's another burden for people that talented. The urge for people to push you into these important, quote unquote important roles must be staggering. And for you to resist and kind of go, no, I want to play something carefree and silly or whatever. But at the same time, playing these incredibly important, almost documentary style roles where he's playing tragic, horrible stories like the story of Oscar Grant, and still managing to kind of put in this incredibly heartfelt, beautiful performance at the core of them. I think that's just an astounding. It's a very difficult thing to balance.
Yeah.
And I think Michael, for the most part, manages to balance it. But from that, we can then look at the other stuff that he did specifically with this same director. Because after he did Fruitvale Station with another equally crazily talented young Black man by the name of Ryan Coogler, he did this other movie called Creed. Now, listen, Creed is technically in a franchise.
Yes.
And yet, this is such a standalone, perfect thing. First of all, because we've been talking a lot about Michael B. Jordan's talent, can I just be 100% at the core of this fucking podcast?
I'm dancing already.
What it do, Michael B. Jordan?
Oh, my goodness. Wow. The physique on what was his name? Adonis.
Hey,
the physique on Adonis Creed.
Wait. I can feel a guttural auntie laugh coming up from my guts. Hold on.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
There's a scene.
Tell me about the scene
where he is running through the streets of Philadelphia.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's getting hype for himself. Like he's
Yes.
training and he's got like all of his, confidence on him and he's
Bruh.
running through the streets and people join in and are like on the little dirt bikes behind him and all this stuff.
I'm actually shuddering in my chair right now remembering this. I'm just I'm doing a weird rocking motion.
I remember in the theater, like it was contagious from the screen into the audience, just getting hyped for him. Thing is, but his body was covered. He was in sweats. It was early in the morning, but you were still like, yes, you rock those gray sweatpants.
Listen,
oh my God, my face is hot.
He did so much for gray sweatpants, bitch.
Oh my gosh.
I was so hyped.
Like you cannot watch this scene without getting hyped.
All
like,
these little black boys.
Knowing the people are behind him makes him run faster. What a metaphor. Come on with
Bitch,
it.
look at this slow motion run. Look at it.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God, I feel pregnant.
And then the Rocky music comes in.
Bitch!
Oh, shit.
And look at the puppet wheelies. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so hyped. What?
Like, tackle your to-do list, bitch. Do it.
You better strike through your to-do list. Look at this motherfucker jump.
Yes.
Shadow box, my
Come on,
friend. Shadow box. Yes, let's circling him.
Yeah. Oh, he's so hyped. Oh, my God.
Jesus wept. What the fuck? This scene is magic.
It's amazing.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Seriously,
Boy.
though. Grab me a fucking cigarette. Wow. This, to me, watching that felt like a sort of cinematic Viagra. But I feel like when I saw that scene, I was hard for hours afterwards. Just muscles tense. Everything just felt alive. I felt like I was buzzing. I felt like I was...
Yes. It really was
Oh my
like...
God. I had to catch my breath. Oh my God.
one of those like really good orgasms where it's just... like you don't even like... You don't even like really make a sound. You're just, your mouth is just open and your body has taken over and you just like dissolve.
Bruh. What's that line from that movie? I felt like molecules. Like I was watching it and I felt like I had disintegrated. And that was when I thought to myself, this is such an important thing because I hate boxing.
Yes.
I am not here for these kinds of particularly fighty physical sports. I'm just not here for it. And I watched Creed and I was like, when can we see this again? Because Michael B. Jordan imbues in that role so much hotness. But then, and this is the next clip I'm going to play, he does something also kind of weirdly miraculous.
Yes.
Because his love interest in that movie, played by Tessa Thompson, she's a singer called Bianca, and she's losing her hearing. And so that's like that's the big, like, you know, at its core, that's the big conflict in her life, that she is this person who wants to make music, but eventually will probably stop being able to make it, or at least will not be able to experience it in the same way because of this condition she has. And this scene is at her place when he goes over and they're being very, you know, they're getting to that stage where in that early part of the relationship where you're kind of telling each other things and things are opening up and it's feeling really beautiful. And they're sat on the bed together. He sat behind her. She's between his legs, like her back against his front. And they're talking and it culminates in something really quite beautiful. I know this because at least 1 million black women in my life swooned and died as a result of it. And he's talking about his fears about taking on the name Creed because he doesn't feel like it belongs to him. Listen to this.
So, what are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of taking on the name and losing. Call me a fraud. Fake Creed.
What you think about what's true? You love to fight, right? Yeah, it makes you happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you are Apollo Creed's son, right?
Yes.
So then use the name. It's yours.
I listened to that. I saw that scene. I listened to that speech and I was inspired myself. I was like, what a pep talk.
Yeah.
Bianca, come pep talk my life. Tell me how to lean into my dreams. But the important thing about that scene is that he is helping her take down her braids.
Yes.
Now, Nicole, I don't know about you, but that to me is top 5 most erotic things a person can even suggest.
Listen, you know, I've already done my drabble with Oscar Isaac detangling my hair.
Yes.
I'm feeling that whole scene. And like you said, every Black woman that I knew was there with it.
Oftentimes when you have Black women in hair on film, it's a case of her taking out like her fake hair, quote unquote fake hair, to see the real her. And it's always kind of like, oh, a moment of realization. And in this, it was like, nah, fuck your expectation. We're going to subvert that shit. It's going to take out her braids because that's just what partners in love do.
Right.
It's fine.
Right.
It's not a symbolic moment. However, there is a moment of symbolism in this particular scene. Stacia L. Brown wrote in her piece in the Washington Post talking about that scene. And again, it was this idea of the conversation being the intimate thing. We're going to put a link to the piece that Stacia wrote for Washington Post about this particular scene on our Tumblr. But there's just a line that I want to read to you from that piece. And she's talking about the scene with the hair. And she says, the conversation they're having is just as intimate and vulnerable as the act of untangling her tresses. They are talking about fears and so on and so forth. And I am here for men being vulnerable and open and saying things in moments where they feel comfortable and safe. And so shout out once more to Ryan Coogler and to Michael B. Jordan for making the scene. And Tessa Thompson, of course.
Yes.
That scene for me was just, I went into Creed with such low expectations. I was like, it's fine. It'll be good, I guess, because it's Ryan Coogler. But I came away and I was like, all right, well, so we're going to nominate this for Best Movie at the Oscars because it's fucking amazing. And I tell people I cried watching that film. I did not expect to cry at a fucking Rocky movie.
Right. And there's an extra layer to it because not only is Creed talking about taking his father's name, but also joining the Rocky franchise and the, pressure of that, because you're going to have these,
Fanboys.
Yes, who love them some Rocky.
Yeah, and they have a very specific view of what a Rocky movie should be and should look like. And in comes Ryan Coogler and specifically Michael B. Jordan taking on this role and just making it his in a very kind of compelling way where you're like, no, there's no doubt about this. This is a Rocky movie, but also no shade to your Rocky. It's a better Rocky movie than most Rocky movies.
Yes, it absolutely is.
It's just, I mean, the talent is astounding. But like I said, for me, this was a perfect marriage of just form, just fucking beautiful, and just the story was also just on point, which then leads us so smoothly into Black Panther, which is the third collaboration between Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Eric Killmonger.
Man, okay. I didn't even know. Okay, let's back up a little bit because at this point, heading into Black Panther, yes, I'd seen Creed, but I was still a little cautious about my affection for Michael B. Jordan because, as we alluded to a little earlier, when he was growing up and he became a young man, he said some things that were clumsy, that weren't great. Okay,
I mean, classic silliness,
right?
Yeah.
And just kind of had to give him room to grow up, and that's what he's done. So when I got into Black Panther. And we see Eric Killmonger. He first appears in a museum.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
That look at the museum, by the way.
Wow.
Bitch.
We know how I feel about hair.
Listen. Oh, I'm reliving it right now. I'm in the studio, but I'm actually not here. I'm in that museum.
And it's become a running joke now because this is what I actually did. When he came on screen, I involuntarily, literally, without my own knowing, moaned.
That moan, I felt that in my chest. I was like, wait. And I looked back and you were so, you were like, oh my God.
Yes.
I could tell it had come out unbidden because you looked mortified. You were like, oh shit, my bad.
Yes.
Sorry. And I was like, wow, to be honest with you, Nicole, I felt honored to have witnessed it because I probably would have struggled to believe if someone told me, but I was there. I saw it. I heard it. And your face afterwards, you were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, so
and we were also
embarrassed.
supportive. But you know what? You moaned with good reason because he looks absolutely at the height of his hot powers. And listen, I'm a deeply sensible person and I would never take up with the likes of an Eric Killmonger. But I want to say I understood the good woman, good sis in that movie who was up with Michael until she suddenly wasn't. I mean, not Michael, Eric. I'm sorry. I wanted to kind of look at, I understood her position. I was like, no. We've all been taken aback. Like, if this man can make Nicole unwittingly moan in a packed cinema, if Eric was a real life person and was saying all his hotep fuckery, I'd be like, yeah, I'm into it, bro. Yeah, totes. I would become an instant pick me.
Right. Like, do you need me to go get your bottle of Egyptian musk from the man on the street? I got you, boo.
I got some incense. What do you need? And that's how potent he is. He's such a hot... I'm sorry. I remember looking at Eric in that movie the whole time, and the deeply un-PC thing that happened to pop into my head every time was, my God, he's such a hot piece of ass, which is horrible. Okay, and I'm a card-carrying feminist, and I don't approve of such language, except to say it's true, though.
And, you know, once you get into the film and then Killmonger is trying to do his, fulfill his purpose in the film. And he says some, you know, fairly heavy-handed lines, I thought.
So heavy-handed.
But, you know, there were a lot of moments where he was shirtless.
Yeah. And he's all scarred up, right?
Yeah, he's got
he
some
has,
scarification.
He's got like a specific scar for every kill he's ever made.
Yes.
Like that's the reasoning behind his scarred upper body. But listen, I felt bad for every single lost soul.
And, you know, I've seen that some people who have trypophobia, which is a fear of clusters and circles, they were having some issues with the makeup that, you know, reflecting the scarification. So if that's you, you know, maybe, you know, be aware of that. Yeah. But still, you could see the muscles through the makeup.
Yeah, the muscles. The bit that also kind of got me is when he's fighting with T'Challa. I don't think it's a spoiler to say at this point. Right. He's fighting with T'Challa, and he takes his top off, and he kind of points his weapon at T'Challa, and kind of goes, you know, like, let's fight. And he's wearing like these black trousers, like a drawstring kind of situation. And you can just see the V of like at the base of his abs. And again, like, listen, I don't care too much about muscles, you know, like whatever. I'm certainly not muscly, so fam.
Listen,
I don't expect you to bring anything that I'm not bringing to the table.
The only muscle I got is my heart.
Oh God, shut up. But in that scene when he's wearing those trousers and you can just look and his hair is all just, you know, askew. And he's ready to, like you said, fulfill his purpose. No pun intended. And I just remember looking at that and kind of going, do you know what? Yeah, fucking kill T'Challa. Do what you got to do, man. Yeah. I just became this. I was like, if you got to kill him, just kill him, innit? Yeah, just kill him. It's fine. I was so on board with Michael B. Jordan as fucking Eric Killmonger. I was like, yeah, do what you have to do. I support you.
Some little behind the scenes stuff that happened between Michael B. Jordan and Lupita Nyong'o. We don't know the particulars of it, but there was a bet that happened between them. Yeah. He lost the bet. Yep. And so he had to do a set of push-ups.
Fam.
Anytime she wanted. She would just be like, she's gonna, you know, she called him over and she'd be like, oh yeah, hey, oh, do the push-up. And he would do that push-up.
Listen, potent fucking shit. Again, I am not someone who exercises willfully. And yet I was like, nah, you should be doing push-ups, bro. Yeah. That's a good thing to be doing. Yeah, do more of them.
Loved it.
That whole press tour was beautiful.
Yeah, they would be in the middle of an interview on the stage in front of like hundreds of people. And she's like, oh, yeah, hit that for me. And he would do it. I love it so much.
It's so good. It's so good. So there was also around this press time when he was doing this, he did an interview with Vanity Fair and they have this video series where they ask stars what their secret talent is. And Michael B. Jordan's secret talent was ironing, he said. And he does this video and it's very tongue-in-cheek and we'll post a link to it on our Tumblr. But in this video, he kind of repeats this particular phrase and it's so tongue-in-cheek and I wanted to be irritated and instead I was utterly charmed. And I think it's because of his fucking dimples. Here it is.
My name is Michael B. Jordan, and my secret talent, which is not about to be a secret anymore, is ironing. It's a pretty wrinkled shirt, as you can see. Lay it down like that on the back. Take the iron. Smooth, deliberate strokes. I don't like it too crispy. I don't like too many creases, but just enough to get rid of the wrinkles. And it's kind of therapeutic.
Oh my God, you can hear the water in the iron. It's doing a lot for me right now.
It's doing so much. You know I love a domestic bae.
Oh my gosh. You like this so much that you changed your Twitter background.
Yes, I did. My Twitter background now just has a screenshot of Michael B. Jordan's hands on an iron and just the caption, smooth, deliberate strokes. And I stand by that. And I've asked my mother never to go to my Twitter page, but it is what it is. Michael B. Jordan ironing, it turns out, is the kink I did not know I had. there was something that has been a constant in Michael B. Jordan's interviews over the years and kind of really came to a head, especially now that he just finished doing Black Panther, and that is his love for anime.
Right. And he's been vocal about this for years. Okay. In the 2014 interview, when he was doing a press tour for That Awkward Moment, somebody asked him what his guilty pleasure was. And
I love this.
The cast was writing on pieces of paper. Michael B. Jordan holds up his piece of paper. It says women, like women is his guilty pleasure. But if you look, crossed out
I love it.
was the word anime.
He's such a goober. I love it. I love it because I just love this idea of this incredibly handsome, cool, and you have there is a feeling, I suppose, among certain people that anime is kind of like this thing that certain people are really into, and they do it at the expense of real life and blah blah blah. And he's like, nah. A lot of people fucking watch anime and love anime, and I'm one of them. So much so that my guilty pleasure is anime. Wait, no, women.
Right.
I just love it. It's such an unsmooth thing for a guy to do.
Right.
I love it. It really humanized him for me. I was like, oh, bless.
Yes, and that's how a lot of people reacted. They were like, oh, that's so sweet. But then there was a certain group of people. And I tweeted this, but a lot of people love anime. It's the gatekeepers that we have a problem with. Right. When the people, the usually men, okay, are just like, no, you can't like anime. Okay, if you like anime, who name,
Exactly.
and then they want you to prove yourself. You shouldn't have to prove that you like something. Don't haze me.
Right, it's that fake geek girl thing.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And Michael B. Jordan, listen. And someone else pointed out, somebody was like, I saw this great tweet where somebody was like, now you all love anime, blah, blah, blah. This man, he lives at home with his parents and watches anime. But if it was me, someone was like, yeah, but you don't look like Michael B. Jordan next.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, correct answer. Stop comparing yourself to Michael B. Jordan. Do you look anything like Michael B. Jordan? Do you bite your lip like Michael B. Jordan? Do you have the abs of Michael B. Jordan? Do you have the staggering talent of Michael B. Jordan? No, sit down.
Sit down. And
Sheesh.
Michael B. Jordan corrected people. He was like, my parents live with me.
Hey, listen.
His parents are older. I think they have some health concerns that he wants to make sure that they're being taken care of. And so he's like, I'm doing the right thing.
He was doing the right thing.
I have the means to take care of them. This is what I'm going to do.
Exactly. And as a Nigerian, I've mentioned this before, I fully expect that one day my parents will probably come live with me. So I need someone who can understand what that means. And I feel like Michael B. Jordan will be like, yeah, babe, bring your family in. Because they're coming anyway. You might as well be on board, bro. But to go back to the anime thing, he mentioned this. I love this idea also because, Eric Killmonger has a very specific look. And apparently the vest, the war corset that he wears is actually a sort of a homage to Dragon Ball Z.
Shut up.
Sis.
I did not know that.
Bruv. I think it's absolutely stunning. When I read that, it made me so happy.
Okay,
I thought, you know
it.
what? Imbue your fucking murderous fucking character with some whimsical, touches, like a fucking Dragon Ball Z vest. I love it so much. And yeah, I love Michael. I think he's, he gave this, he did a 73 questions video with Vogue, which kind of had a little moment where he was with his parents, which is a very, very sweet moment. I thought that was so charming. But it also kind of helped dispel a couple of things. Now, you mentioned before that there was some issue regarding the interview that he gave to GQ where he mentioned that some fans of his had been unhappy, or rather the interviewer mentioned that some fans seemed unhappy that you appear to be dating Kendall Jenner. And he gave this answer that was, as we've said, clumsy.
Part of the issue was he kept referring to women as females.
The mark of a dickhead.
Yeah. And the problem, if you're unfamiliar with being called female, if you're a woman, is that it loses your humanity. You're a female what?
Female what?
A
a female stick. What is it? What is a female?
There's a word for female, which is woman.
For female human beings.
Yes, for female human beings, it's woman.
He then had to write and express an apology.
Yes.
To women. And not just to women, to black women.
Yes.
And where was this published?
Of course, he had to put it in Essence magazine. And this was 2015. And it is a stellar apology.
In as much as an apology can be.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
fucked up.
yeah, we hear so many apologies, especially from men. But this one was really, really good.
Part of the thing that he said in the Essence apology, which I truly, I urge you as a scholar of apologies, just go have a read of it. He says, I deeply regret and am ashamed that I said anything to disappoint or disparage black women. I apologize with my whole heart for referring to women in the way that I did. The word female, used in the manner that I did, is dismissive and strips women of their humanity. This reference to women will not come out of my mouth publicly or in private again. Bitch!
Ooh, that is a stellar apology.
I was aroused reading it, but it was like an arousal that was tempered with, all apologies are terrible, but this was not bad, bearing in mind your sins.
Right. Because what he did, he listed his mistakes, showing us that he knew what he had done wrong. He said what he was going to do to rectify the situation in public and in private.
Fam. That's the stuff. And then he made good on it and he went the fuck away.
Yes.
And we love a man who apologizes and then just gives you some fucking room to get over it. And that's what Michael B. Jordan did. And then he reemerged like a butterfly who was once a caterpillar. And at this time, he came back fresh out the gym, looking like God's love. And obviously, you're lovely to look at. Oh, you're a bit of a dickhead. Wait, you seem to be learning. And that is the hottest, that's the hottest journey a man can take. Stop being a dick and become a man. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Absolutely. And now Michael B. Jordan has his own production company called Outlier Society Productions.
Look at that.
He recently announced that they're going to adopt what's called inclusion writers, making sure that the sets for the movies and the different projects that he's working on, that are producing, that they have many people from different backgrounds, that it's not going to be lily whites. It's not going to be straight.
It's not going to be male.
Yeah. So that is a perfect sign of growth. I mean, he's just keeps surprising us.
It's a good marker. Again, inclusion writers is, listen, we'll see it when you do it, obviously.
Right.
But even adopting it, it's just this nice idea that you get to do stuff. And I feel like he's also taking a big stand in kind of being, a responsible black man regarding the kinds of stories he's telling. He's producing a thing with Netflix. So I'm proud of him for at least attempting to glow up in a mental way. Because the physical stuff is, it's a point.
And it's also just showing the way that he's learning from the people that he works with, specifically Ryan Coogler, who has a very inclusive set.
A better role model and mentor he could not ask for. It's truly something magical. And for that, we are so grateful.
So thankful for you, Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, God, yeah.
Michael Bay.
Hey.
Bim.
Hello.
Hi. I have a question.
Yes, please.
Can you tell me what time it is, please?
Yes, I can. It's time for Third Sommelier.
Yay!
So this is the bit of the show where we talk to our listeners, or rather they talk to us, leaving us a very brief message, asking us to help them widen their thirst palate. So, for example, if you're a fan of Hollywood Chris's and you've been focusing your attentions on Chris Pine, we might suggest that you just veer a little bit left and have a look at Chris Messina or something like that. So this week we had a wonderful voicemail from the lovely, the sweet, and just utterly thirsty Maureen. Maureen, you left us a wonderful voicemail. Let's have a listen.
Hi, Bim and Nicole. My name is Maureen, and I have a real problem. I am way too thirsty for Gina Rodriguez, star of Jane the Virgin and Annihilation and a bunch of other great things. I am calling you guys today asking for a lifeline because I am so in love with Gina Rodriguez. It's becoming borderline creepy. Instagram notifies me when she posts. That seems unacceptable to me. Please help me find another woman that I can thirst after so I don't feel like a giant creep all the time. Thanks.
Right.
Oh, Maureen.
I love that message. I need to not feel like a creep. Same, Maureen, same.
Yeah. Well, to stick with the Gina family, I'm going to recommend Gina Torres.
Yes.
She is gorgeous,
Yes, she is.
smart, an activist. She is
Yeah.
everything in one.
Yeah.
And she's about to have a new show. It's untitled right now, but it's a spinoff of the show Suits, where she was starring for several years. And the thing about Gina Torres, Maureen, is that she is not on social media. So you won't have to worry about following her online and it becoming too much. You know, you can just kind of just get the news, you know, every now and then. And then since she's going to be on TV again soon with her spinoff, you're going to be able to see her on your TV every week.
Exactly.
So, you know, a good healthy amount without going too far over.
Wow, this is the best sommelier ever. I love it. A healthy amount. You know, 2 pervs a day. I feel like it's that's a really solid choice. Good decision. The thing that you didn't mention, you just said gorgeous, and that's, you know, a wonderful word.
Yeah.
But I also just want to point out that Gina Torres has a body that will not quit.
Oh my god.
Can we just talk about that?
Yeah, she should have played Wonder Woman at some point.
Fine.
Like beyond, she's done the voice.
She's done the voice, but I want to see her in the.
Yeah,
I want to
in
see
the
her
outfit.
oh my god, I love her. So Maureen, listen, I am not as healthy as Nicole is, and listen, I don't know how to help you with your Instagram notifications, but I think that you absolutely should be following Candice Patton.
Yes, I love her.
I love her too. She is currently playing Iris West Allen on The Flash on the CW. She is everything that Gina is and different at the same time. So she's incredibly cute. She has that classic girl next door, just like Gina Rodriguez has. She has the cutest fucking smile. She has stunning hair, okay? And again, has that nice tightness. She just looks like she looks like a steak. She's just gorgeous. And she's also like a really sweet actor, and I really love her as, you know, Iris on The Flash. I think she's just like, I want her to have a wonderful career, and I need her to get out of The Flash very, very soon. And she also has that thing that Gina has, which is kind of like, you know, beneath the surface is like this, you know, steely resolve, you know, a kick-ass feeling. So that's my recommendation. A little bit of Candice Patton. See how far it gets you. Let's
And Candice is active on social media, so you can still follow her and get all the notifications that you want.
All of them. She has like a cute little dog. She posts like songs that she's listening to. You can really, you know, get in her life in a, you know, borderline but not too creepy way. So I feel like this is that's the happy medium for you.
Maureen, we hope that this has helped you move on from obsessing about Gina Rodriguez. And if anybody else out there requires the services of the Thirst Sommeliers, give us a call. We're at 765-884-4778. That's 765-8-THIRST.
Okay, Nicole, I feel very strongly that this week's Drabbles, this week's Fanfic Wars, is going to be stellar. And the reason why I think that is you have quite a mischievous glint in your eye, and I am slightly terrified but always intrigued. And I can't wait to hear what you have written, what scenario you have written involving Mr. Michael Bay Jordan, but I'm really, really fucking ready.
Okay, I just want to say that after last week's Drabble, I know people may be expecting something, you know, a little intense.
Really?
But
Oh, God.
I would like you to lower your expectations, please.
You always say that, and then you pull out a fucking bunny out of your hat. Just fucking read it.
Okay, I'm just going to read it. Okay. We'd been on the teacups twice, sneaked kisses in the tunnel of love, licked powder from funnel cakes off each other's fingers. But by the third time I'd maneuvered away from the roller coasters, Michael was on to me. He asked, "You afraid of roller coasters, girl?" Those dimples soothing the edges of my anxiety. "I don't want to be decapitated," I blurt. He laughs at me, then kisses my temple, calling me adorable. Then he pulls me along to one of those strongest man meters, you know, the kind where you slam a huge cartoonish hammer down and a little marker shoots up to tell you you're a weakling or a god. Michael winks at me while we wait in line. I wrap my arms around him, press my face between his shoulders. His shirt is a little damp. The sun has worn us down, but I don't mind. He smells like a day on the beach. He gathers my hands together and kisses them before holding them against his chest. We begin to sway together like that, the music of each other, all we need. Don't you just want to be sweet with Michael B. Jordan?
Shut the fuck up. Get out of my house. Get off my land. Don't you want to be sweet with Michael B. Jordan?
Oh, man.
Mate. Okay, that was incredibly charming.
Thank you.
That was incredibly sweet.
Thank you. But Bim,
Yes.
what do you have for us today?
Oh, no, not that. Oh, God. All right. This time we've actually left the house, so I'm not even being domestic Bim to the fam. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
Michael has moved you.
I wish you would. All right. The song wound down, and I saw Michael drop slightly at the waist to his tiny dance partner and begin to wend his way back to our table, smiling in my direction as soon as he caught my eye. I loved to watch him walk in a suit, and judging by some of the wedding guests' lingering glances, I wasn't the only one. He finally arrived and dropped heavily back into his chair, kissing my cheek in one smooth movement. It was his third such return in the last 15 minutes, as yet another of my little cousins came up to him and shyly asked him for a dance, no doubt encouraged by some of their smirking mums, aka my cousins. They knew he was a soft touch. None of the other boyfriends and spouses was being anywhere as indulgent, and he was good-natured enough not to complain. He was on boyfriend duty, and he was passing with flying colours. No two ways about it. Michael was a hit. I slid him a slice of the wedding cake I'd snagged while he was cutting up a rug with my 9-year-old second cousin Tola. Eat, I said. Tola is exhausting, and you need to keep your energy up. He bit his lip and smiled broadly. I do? He asked. You do, I repeated, before leaning in closer to the shell of his ear, because I want to dance with you next. And then the song after that too. His laugh rumbled in his chest. Oh, okay. I see how it is. You all just want me for my twinkle toes. I pulled back to look directly in his eyes. Oh, that's not all I want you for, I said. I need someone to watch Naruto reruns with as well. He laughs, kisses my hand, and pulls me onto the dance floor.
Well, we got dancing Michael B. Jordan in both of our drabbles this week. Oh, my God.
When you look at someone and you think, I bet he can dance.
Yes.
And then you write from your heart.
Yes.
This is what happens.
Yes.
I just want to spend time with Michael B. Jordan.
Let's just sway together,
All right,
Michael.
let's do it. I just imagine the two of you and me just coming up behind and hugging y'all too. They're like, just Thursday Kid and Michael having a little dance.
Oh, my gosh.
Michael. I mean, listen, as we say, we mean it every week, but
Yeah.
we genuinely mean it. There are no losers here. However, there will be a poll up
Yes.
on our Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and you can vote for your favorite drabble, this week's Fanfic Wars. I mean, do you want to dance with Michael at a wedding or with him on a fucking fairground? It's up to you.
It's
you
up
get
to
to
you.
vote. That will be on our Twitter, which is at First Aid Kit on Twitter. And you can, send us an email if you want. Tell us your own Michael B. Jordan drabble. Tell us the scenario in which he's dancing with you. Send that to firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com. And of course, we'll post everything on our Tumblr as well.
First Aid Kit is produced by us, Bim Adewumi and Nicole Perkins, Julia Furlan, and TK Dutesse.
Our music is by Tanya Morgan, and you can follow us on Twitter at First Aid Kit, and we're also on Tumblr at firstaidkitpodcast.tumblr.com. We are also on Twitter at TN Whiskey Woman, that's whiskey with an E, and Bim Adew, BIMADEW.
Thank you, Maureen, for sending in that lovely voicemail. If you require the services of the Thirst Sommeliers, give us a call. Leave a brief message at 765-884-4778. That's 765-8-THIRST. And for our international listeners, you can send us a brief voice memo at thirstaidkit@buzzfeed.com.
Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it every time, so please head on over to Apple Podcasts and extend your good deed. Rate and review the show, please. It'll help other people discover it, and it also makes us feel nice when we read what you think. Feel free to live tweet your listen using the hashtag TAKPOD, TACPod. And remember, we also accept praise and love via inbox, so send us an email at firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com.
Huge thanks to those of you who bought tickets to come to our Thirsty Movies Magic Mike XXL screening at the Alamo Drafthouse in Brooklyn, New York on April 24th. Listen, if you want a movie night like this in your city, what you need to do is call up your local theater, see if they'll have us. And if they will, we'll come there.
Yes, we will. Have thirst, will travel. Okay, we can't wait to lust out loud with you. And listen, we'll be back next week if you can't make it to the cinema. But remember, as always, to stay thirsty. Bye.
Bye.
Superb. All right, so we're going to begin. Hey, Nicole. We are gonna begin with a little.
we do not allow Darcy.
Why don't
in
you leave
Thursday
Darcy
Kit.
the fuck alone? Okay,
No,
leave
no.
leave Darcy out of it. Okay, Darcy's just trying to live her life. All right.